Hey everybody, how's it going? Today we're going to take a look at the 13th floor of the Kinki no Goku, aka the Forbidden Abyss. And of course, let me remind you that the elemental effectiveness is increased by a significant amount for these stages after the 11th floor. So making sure you bring fire types in this case is going to be very important for your offense and defense. Pretty equally, I think. Main gimmicks are damage walls and blocks. You're going to want to try to handle both. Blocks aren't super necessary if your monsters can make up for that deficiency, which my team ends up doing. There's also a lot of sling switch panels, and if you're not familiar with that, basically if you cross over that, you switch from a bounce to a pierce, and back again if you go over a different one. And that switch doesn't carry over after your turn ends, so your next turn you are still the normal sling style that you would have begun with. And mainly the key point here is just finding the path that will pierce all of the onions, because we can start the video. These onion guys, they will revive each other if you don't kill them all at once. In addition, the Jotuns on this stage, those green mech dudes, it kind of depends on their attack scheme. If they only have 2 attacks, they're not a reviving pair, so you just can take out one at a time. However, they tend to heal themselves significantly. But if they do have 3 attacks, then they are a reviving pair, so you need a pinch like you saw there. The green skulls that were on the onions rearranged the stage so that you could pinch them in a much easier manner. Not always the case. For example, this stage, they are completely separated out, but they only have 2 attacks, so you should know that they are not a reviving pair. So you can just focus on taking out those Jotuns as much as possible. However, like I said, since they heal significantly, you have to take them out in that single turn. Otherwise, you're wasting a turn, like I'm going to do here. While I'm wasting that turn, let's go over my party real quick. In my first slot, you can see a drop monster that is a Maimon. Really giving the option to turn between a bounce and a pierce is nice, although the strike shot turn count is pretty high. In return, he does get a decent boost in attack, if I remember correctly. Himiko, she does not have no block, however that super null damage wall plus her awesome bump combo is going to come in really handy here. And I do think if you're going to want to bring a Himiko, making sure at least have 2 to make sure that you can fill the screen with all those lasers and tasty damages is going to be super important. Yeah, so I brought Himiko as well as the Sailor Mars version of Himiko, which I enjoy a lot. Last but not least is Azazel in his evil form, which is actually not the one that you normally see. Usually the ascended form is favored for that speed up, and for what, 33 in the Tower of Champions? That's probably where he shines the most. Oops, there a little quickly, but we're about to clear the stage. We're gonna see that darn Vritra again, and this is probably the floor that a lot of people dislike the most in this stage, I feel like. You do have to take out both of them in one shot, but they do have a significant amount of HP, so you're going to have to whittle down their HP, utilize bump combos, utilize that switch panel so that you can do enough damage. When you kill both of them, it will shift that diamond formation of the Jotuns into a standard square, which makes it much easier to pinch. However, if you get lucky here, the top and the left are a pair, and the bottom and the right is a pair. So utilizing bump combos like my team here, you might get lucky to take out a pair ahead of time. If you take those pairs out, maybe you'll have better luck in taking out the Vritras a little bit easier. Again, they are on top of the blocks, so if you're ending up bringing a bump combo focused team like I did here, it might be a little tough. Again, that big number in the middle is a death counter, and an important theme in this stage too is that when you take out monsters that can revive each other, when they revive, their death counters are generally shortened. It doesn't happen all of the time, but it is something you have to watch out for. So unless you feel like you can go for the kill, you want to try to avoid killing monsters unnecessarily, because that's just, tightening the noose around your neck for that death count. It is a pain in the butt. But yeah, honestly, the basic actions for the stage is fairly straightforward. It's just whether or not you can do them is certainly suspect. Now, somebody like Azazel, for example, his bump combo right here comes in super handy. That Pierstruction bump combo. It also helps that the weak point is fairly big, so that you kind of get a better chance of activating the bump combos with that weak point to do major damage. But like all other quests in the Abyss, doing direct damage is very important. Now, that Himiko in the third slot has a super awesome position to just get in there, pinch those 2 Jotuns, and then we have 7 turns to focus on what was your name? Oh, why can't I come up with it now? But not having to worry about those enemies exploding on you is going to be super helpful. It's Shambhala. What? I don't know why I forgot that. But again, you can try and get creative. Bounce types do have the ability to find that pinching opportunity, as you saw there, to take out Shambhala between the blocks. Now this stage is interesting because, as you can see, the Jotun in this case has 3 attacks. However, they are not a reviving pair. I know. For most up until now, that's true. But you have 2 options here. You can, 1, focus on the onions, of course. Taking them out will rearrange the stage so that it's easier to take out the Jotuns. However, they are positioned in a way that you could take advantage of the blocks and do massive damage to them. Again, if you don't take them out quickly, they will heal each other, or heal themselves up to basically max, resetting all your work. Taking out the onions are nice, but if you find yourself in a position like that bottom Himiko was, why not take the most of what you've got? So I took out the bottom left one, great. Right one, able to take advantage of the blocks, great. Now, all we have to do is either clean up Shambhala in the middle, and if we can get rid of the onions along the way, that would be great. But really, we can just focus on Shambhala here. The onions don't do any damage, as you can see. All they're doing is reviving. Okay, I guess they're doing homing attacks, but it's basically nothing. And so honestly, you know, I probably didn't think about it too much while I was doing this, because I was like, oh, I gotta get rid of the onions. But really, as long as your HP is topped off, just focus on getting rid of the Shambhala. Lucky there with the bump combo. Again, as you can see, the power that the Pierstruction has, pretty darn good. Which is, I mean, just that's a fire Lorelei, right? Yeah. But there, as you can see, there's a downside with bringing monsters that don't have no block. You have that opportunity of being able to do new damage. And I guess on the other hand, we found the perfect counter reason to that. You can just get yourself in there in between the blocks and the boss to do major damage. Alright, now once we get into the boss stage, they do throw in a slightly new gimmick. We haven't seen them yet in this stage, but if you remember Shambhala's stage, they do have those hands that come out. And when you take out the green skulls, the hands will drop down, which will mess with the stage a little bit. As you can see, on the left in red is Shambhala's right hand. And basically, okay, I know it's always confusing about that, so that's why I took that photo to try and illustrate it properly. But the right hand, which is on the left, is bad. Right? The one pointing to the left is bad because it will fire a blast that will attack down your team. Not good. Whereas on the other hand, in green, on the right side of Shambhala, her left hand is good because that left hand, when you hit it, will attack up your team, so you can do even more damage. So, pay attention to those hands. They will go into counter mode. Once they go into counter mode, they are, going to affect the damage output of your team. So making sure you hit the correct one in the correct order. Don't forget bump combos count too. It's going to be super important. However, besides that, the basic actions are still the same. You're going to want to take the onions out in one path. Again, as you can see, there's a whole line of blocks, so that really limits my Himikos from moving effectively. Big bummer. And as you can see, HP is a little bit scary. Got lucky with the hearts there. There's a medium one on top, golden one on the bottom. That'll top off my team very nicely. And unfortunately, still no luck with getting rid of the onions, but you know what? With all these enemies, that's also an opportunity for Himiko to shine. Again, if you don't remember how Himiko Strike Shot worked, the more enemies you touch, the more damage that meteor does in the end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 possible targets. Hoping for some overkill here, right? Because we'll make the future a little bit easier. And unfortunately that was only 7, but that is good enough to KO Shambhala there. So we don't actually see the hands in action on this stage. That's okay. It happens. But we go to the second boss stage, and luckily that Azazel is in a perfect position to take out all 4 onions on the first attack, which will cause the hands to come down, rearrange the stage, and as you can see, the Jotuns are in a much more manageable position. As you can see, that switch panel is just asking you to take advantage of them and pinch those darn Jotuns out of the way. Again, the hands still apply. Right, the left hand is the right hand, the one pointing to the left, is bad. The left hand pointing to the right is good. And as you can see, they will mess with you along the way as well. And got a nice blast there at the end. Again, order is important along with the bump combos. Keep in mind who has what bump combos so you can reliably get that attack up buff. And then, as you notice, that blast for the defense down is, attack down is much bigger than the blast for the attack up. So you do need to be somewhat closer to those hands to make sure you get that attack up buff. Which I guess, sure, make it difficult, even more difficult than it needs to be. And, well, yeah, most people got the buff there, which is pretty darn good. And we should be able to clear this stage with just a nice love tap from Himiko. And hopefully, yep, don't accidentally activate the defense down, or attack down, sorry. That's alright. Alright, final stage. Of course, they had to bring back that darn Vritra on the top of the stage. Again, that death counter in the middle is very, very low. So you're going to have to make sure to take out both of them at the same time. Got close there. Really, making sure you get rid of them on the first shot would be really nice. Again, only taking out one does help at least rearrange them in such a way that it's slightly easier to get rid of them. I think there's a pinchable position in between them, but unfortunately bad luck there with Amaimon. Again, just inches away from taking out that Vritra, but might as well use Himiko Strike Shot here. Take out all of them. Or really just get super lucky and pinch yourself in between the monsters. I think I pinched in between the one on the top right and the bottom right, between the walls. Himiko's structure is very interesting because it lets her warp between the walls, ignoring them, and kind of like Pac-Man style. Go out on the top, come up on the bottom. And I'll admit, I got stupid lucky on that stage. just for reference, that final stage does feature something like this, where in the green slots, those left hands, which are good, will show up, and the red slots, the bad attack down hands, will come up there. So you kind of have to play this game of can you go up there, hit the hands in the proper order, pick up the buff, and then do damage on Shambhala on the bottom. Of course, the Jotuns scooch up quite a little bit to make it easier to pinch in between them. So if you can get the right order of the buffs and get that pinch, you can do a lot. Again, my party got lucky with the bump combos and bump combo strike shots, utilizing both. Kind of key there. And of course, this wasn't the ideal stage or clear opportunity, but I sure as heck am not going to run this quest again. So I did my best to narrate that for you. Hopefully it was helpful. Yeah, floor 13. Thank you for watching. That's it for today. Until next time. Bye-bye.